by becoming the first super middleweight world champion from Mexico before Canelo even held the world titles. Then as the first Mexican cruiserweight world champion, and finally as the first ever unified world champion of Mexican descent. I can't wait to see Zurdo.
Ladies and gentlemen, fight fans all across America and around the world, get ready to witness a clash of ego, legacy, and raw tension, because what we just saw at the press conference between Jake the Problem Child Paul and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. was nothing short of explosive. If you thought this was
that he sees a renewed spirit in his son. He says he has never seen his son this focused going into the fight. Is that what you want? Do you want the best of Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.?
I don't want any excuses. And when I beat this man, all the boxing media, like you guys always do, are
going to be your average pre-fight face-off. Think again. This was pure chaos, heated words, brutal disrespect, and a face-off that nearly turned into a full-blown fight before the actual fight. Let's break it all down, moment by moment.
I'm going to discredit it, but I'm going to expose him and I'm going to embarrass him. You know, he's the embarrassment of Mexico. Mexico doesn't even claim him, and he's going to get exposed on June 28th. And then the boxing media will have all these excuses. But I don't want them to be having these excuses because they say he's...
Every insult, every smirk, and every second of tension from the Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. full press conference and face-off. This is the drama you came for. So here's the setup. You've got Jake Paul, YouTube sensation turned professional knockout artist. Love him or hate him.
Training hard. They say this is the most focused he's ever been. Good. And as he should be, because people don't realize how good I actually am. And when he feels those first punches, he's going to want to quit and go back to his stool.
We've seen you.
He's a marketing machine and a legit fighter now, coming off wins over Anderson Silva and Nate Diaz. Jake's building a legacy in real time. And now he wants another name on his hit list, and not just any name. We're talking about Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., the son of Mexican boxing royalty, a former world...
We've seen you move around in different types of events. Events like you had last year against Mike Tyson, some of the more traditional boxing matches. This is maybe a little bit of both. You've got a former champion sitting over here to the left with a big name. Does this signal to the boxing world that you're looking to get...
Champion with a controversial career, known as much for his last name as for his lack of discipline. Two worlds collided at this press conference, one representing modern spectacle, and the other, a crumbling piece of boxing tradition. The cameras flashed, the music dropped, and when these two men
get back on that championship path, the pursuit of a world title.
Yeah, look, I always said it. I'm going to fight really tough people, and I'm going to fight big money fights. You know, this is prize fighting. And so I'm giving the fans what they want with every single fight, taking on tougher opponents, and this is just that.
Sat down, it got ugly fast. The mic was passed to Jake Paul first, and he didn't hold back. I'm not here to play games. I'm here to retire Chavez Jr. This is the final nail in his career's coffin. Boom. First shot fired. Jake leaned forward with that cocky smirk, calm but calculated. The crowd responded.
Can't help but notice it's a cruiserweight fight. The co-main event is a cruiserweight world title. If you look just to your right, there are two belts sitting there on the stage. Is it at all in your mind, if you beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., that a matchup with that man, Zurdo Ramirez, might not be...
With mixed energy, some cheers, but a lot of boos from the hardcore boxing heads in the room. Then Chavez Jr. took the mic, eyes narrowed, voice sharp. You are a clown. You don't belong in this sport. You have followers. I have blood, real fighting blood. You are an embarrassment.
Far behind.
Yeah, 100%, man. This is what I came here to do, is become world champion and to create one of the greatest sports stories the world has ever seen. Going from Disney Channel to YouTube to world champion in 6 to 7 years, that's the most relatable and best sports story that any kid can get behind, and that's what I'm here to do.
Now the gloves were off. No more politeness. No more press conference professionalism. Just straight venom. Jake fired back instantly. Your last name is your only W. Without it, you're nothing but a punching bag with Gucci trunks. You could feel the heat in the room rising. This wasn't showmanship anymore.
What we do is inspire the next generation and do what no one's ever done before in the world's hardest sport, which is boxing.
You faced some hostile environments in the past, the Nate Diaz fight being one of them, but this might be the most hostile you've walked into. Southern California, two Mexicans on the card. What do you think?
This was personal. Jake leaned in again, looking directly at Chavez. I've beaten tougher guys than you. Ask Silva. Ask Woodley. You couldn't even beat Anderson. I outboxed legends. You lost to a YouTuber's dad next. Poof. The disrespect. The jab.
About fighting in this type of atmosphere?
Man, the Mexicans love me, bro. Like, I'm stepping into my home environment. They love me more than they love this guy. You know, Mexico doesn't even claim him, so that's just the way it is, and I love my Mexican fans, and they've always been rocking with me since day.
Chavez Jr. S loss to Silva hit hard. Chavez Jr. stood up. No mic, just shouting now. You're not a fighter. You're a show. You don't have the art. Security started moving. Jake.
Day one, and I'm gonna show him who the real Mexican warrior is.
All right. Well, Julio, I think Claudia is going to interpret for us here. He called you an embarrassment. He called you a quitter. What do you think of that?
Jake stayed seated, calm, like he was ready to let the chaos unfold but had total control. I don't have heart. Bro, I got more heart than your entire career resume. You quit against Canelo. I don't quit. And that was the moment everything changed. Mentioning the Canelo fight where Chavez Jr.
It's crazy. Jake is crazy. I think he's overrated. You know, he's don't fight anybody.
Looked passive and outclassed, was like hitting a raw nerve. Julio slammed the mic down. Chairs shuffled. The press went wild. At this point, both fighters' teams got involved. Jake's coach tried to pull him back, reminding him to stay chill. Chavez's father, yes, the legend Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., stood up and told his son in Spanish to stop engaging. Even Sr. knew this was spiraling, but Jr. was locked in. He was red in the face. Jake, still smirking, said into the mic, "Even your dad doesn't believe in you. Man, look at him. He's embarrassed." That line cut deep, and the entire room gasped. Sr. walked out. Not a word, just shook his head and walked out. Jake had done what Jake always does. He controlled the crowd. He pushed the buttons. He created a viral moment before the bell even rang. Reporters got their shot next, and you know they were ready to stir the pot. One asked Chavez, "Do you think you'll be the one to finally end the Jake Paul hype train?" Chavez answered, "This isn't a hype train. This is a joke. I'll show him what real boxing is. I'm not Ben Askren. I'm not Woodley. I'm not 40 years old. I'm a real fighter." Then Jake interrupted, "You're right. You're not Askren. At least he took the knockout like a man. You quit when fights got hard. You don't fight. You fold." Then another reporter asked, "Jake, what makes you think you can beat someone with more experience? From a boxing family?" Jake grinned, "Easy. Experience doesn't mean skill. I'm in the gym every day. He's in the clubs. I live this life. He's living off his last name. I'm not fighting a legend. I'm fighting a legacy leech." Mic drop. Then came the moment everybody waited for, the face-off. Jake stood up first. Calm, cool, confident. He walked across the stage with that signature swagger, hands behind his back, head high. Chavez Jr. met him in the center, shoulders broad, face tense, but you could see the emotion bubbling. He was mad. They went nose to nose. Jake didn't blink. Chavez was breathing heavy. Security circled them instantly. The cameras were flashing like it was the Oscars. Every second tense. Then Jake whispered something. Nobody could hear it, but Chavez's reaction was loud. He shoved Jake. Jake didn't budge, just laughed, straight laughed in his face, and said, "You just lost the fight already." Boom. That was it. Security jumped in. The teams were barking at each other. The crowd went crazy. The fight hadn't even started, but the war had. After the press conference ended, the internet went nuts. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, clips went viral instantly. Some people were saying Jake went too far bringing Chavez Sr. into it. Others, saying Chavez Jr. got exposed for being emotional and unstable. Former fighters chimed in. Teddy Atlas tweeted, "Jake knows how to sell a fight, but he better be ready. Chavez still has hands." Clarissa Shields posted, "All I'm saying is, Jake better not underestimate a guy who grew up with gloves on before he could walk." Even Dana White had a moment. "I hate Jake Paul, but I'll watch that fight." And that's what this fight's about. Whether you love Jake Paul or hate him, you can't ignore him. So what's really on the line here? For Jake Paul, this is about proving he belongs in the world of real boxing. Chavez Jr. is a legit boxer even with the baggage. If Jake beats him, that's a serious message to the boxing world. But if Jake loses, the haters win. They'll say he finally got exposed. that he couldn't hang with a real boxer, even one as inconsistent as Chavez Jr. For Chavez Jr., this is everything. He's not just fighting Jake Paul, he's fighting for respect, to get out from under his father's shadow, to show the world he's more than wasted potential. A loss here? Career suicide. Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. isn't just a boxing match, it's a cultural collision. Old school versus new school, legacy versus virality, honor versus hype. The press conference gave us a preview of the intensity, the disrespect, the fire these two are bringing into the ring. Jake Paul played mind games and won the press war, but Chavez Jr. still has the skills and experience to end the showman's run when the bell rings. All the talk ends. All that matters is who lands first, and who doesn't get back up. So who you got? Fight fans? Jake Paul, the internet's favorite villain? Or Chavez Jr., boxing royalty with something to prove? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget, hit that like button if you felt the heat from that face-off. And subscribe for all the fight drama, highlights, and breakdowns, right here, because this one is gonna be fireworks. You won't want to miss it. Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. Let the war begin.